All right, guys, welcome to the weekly or bi-weekly. We switched it up. We're going to go bi-weekly, 2 times a month, every other Wednesday night, 6:30 p.m. Hop on here, give you guys some of my best tips based on the prior 2 weeks. Now that I am running 3 businesses total, I wanted to touch base on time management because it's become like my life story is trying to figure this crap out. So it's funny that when you have more on your plate, you tend to figure the time management stuff out better than if you have fewer things on your plate. I know for me, the times I look back when I was doing massage a few days a week and then Beachbody a few days a week, I found myself procrastinating a lot more, and I was lazy a lot more and just not getting a whole lot of stuff done as far as being actually productive versus busy. And it was just because I had no fire under my butt. And so now that I'm running multiple businesses, I can tell you firsthand experience, I've gotten my time management pretty under control right now. So I want to give you guys my 5 best tips I can give you. I'm going to make this short and sweet. If you're taking notes, which I highly recommend you do, the point of taking notes when you listen to any type of team training or motivational video, whatever it may be, the point is not to take notes on every single thing, because you're not going to get a whole lot out of every single thing. You're looking for just 1 or 2 gold nuggets that you can start applying now. So I'm going to give you 5 tips. If you can at least take one of these and run with it starting tonight or tomorrow morning, go for it. Tip number 1, set your priorities straight. This has been a big one for me the last 2 months since I really started hitting this Amazon business hard. You need to figure out what your priorities are. And what I mean by that is most of you inside the team have heard me talk about like the power blocks before, right, on my calendar. So I now have 3 different blocks I have to put on there. So I have to put a Beachbody block so I can actually continue doing my Beachbody list. I have to put an e-commerce block so I can do my sourcing and shipments and all that kind of stuff. And then I have to put a massage block for my massage clients here, right here in the room. So those are my priorities. Those have to go on my calendar first before anything else does. Before scrolling through Facebook or going out and getting groceries or doing laundry and all the kind of stuff that we typically have, right? You need to set your priorities straight. Obviously, those of us with kids and families, our priorities change a little bit each day depending on their needs, which is fine. But it ultimately comes down business-wise to you have to set your priorities straight. And when it becomes a true priority, that's when you start making it happen every single day. Those who skip on tasks are the ones who are not making it a priority. It's all tied together with making it a commitment and all that kind of stuff that we typically hear. But unless you really, truly make it a priority, it's not going to happen. You look at people that I always use this example now is people who say, I don't have time to work out. They're really saying it's not a priority to them. They may be the same person that is taking 6 10-minute smoke breaks throughout their whole 8-hour shift at work. I've heard that from the same people that I know for a fact they smoke a lot, pack or 2 a day, and yet they flip around and say, oh yeah, I'm just having a really hard time finding time to work out or meal prep, whatever the excuse is. And it's just because their priorities are jacked up. You need to get your priorities straight with your business, personal life, etc. It's all a balancing act. So you just need to make a list. That's what I had to do. When I took the time management training a couple of years ago in Seattle, we had to make a list based on our roles. So for myself, I can say massage therapist, Beachbody coach, e-commerce, husband, father. These are all roles that I play in life. So you need to write down what your roles are and prioritize which ones go from greatest to least. And start putting those things in your calendar, which leads me to tip number 2, which is schedule focused time periods of work on those priorities. So I'm a big fan of, I get up first thing in the morning and do personal development. Before I touch anything else, it has to be personal development, because not that I like reading at 6 a.m. I actually hate it. I'm not entirely awake. I have to pound a bunch of coffee just to get my eyes to open up. But I've noticed that the mornings I just suck it up and do it anyways. This right here is mentally clear for the rest of the day. The days that I sleep in a little bit, or maybe I don't do my personal development, but I still get up early, yeah, I get some stuff done, but it takes me much longer to get going and get that mental clarity. So for whatever reason, I don't know why, it's a combination of waking up early and personal development. Combination of those two things. I mean, it's like, I once heard the first hour of your day is your rudder. That's going to determine how your entire day goes. We've all been in the moments where we wake up with just enough time to barely shower, rush out the door and do the, oh shit, I'm going to be late for work. And then it domino affects your whole freaking day. And then you get home, you're like, oh, I'm so tired, just because you felt rushed all day. I hate feeling rushed. I hate it. So by scheduling focus time blocks, so for example, personal development is first thing in the morning for me. And then directly followed by that, I do a social media checklist. And these are all blocks in my calendar, right? So I pull up my phone and I have them blocked off throughout my whole schedule. So it's personal development is a block. So for 30 to 40 minutes, that's focused time. I'm not scrolling through Facebook. I just play music and I read. That's it. I might be taking notes along the way. But any time that you have something pop up on your schedule, you need to really just hone in and focus on that, get that tunnel vision. Because a lot of us like to be busy and multitask. And I completely agree with what Darren Hardy says. There's no physical explanation for multitasking. You can't physically multitask. What you can do is you can have multiple things in front of you, but your brain is going to switch from one to the other. You're never truly focusing on everything at one time. So if you're sitting here trying to read your personal development, yet every 5 minutes you have to be like, oh, I wonder if I have any notifications. Your brain is switching and you're focusing on that now. So you lost track of your first task. So whatever your task is, your time blocks, just focus on it. Nothing else but that task. So personal development first thing in the morning. I do a social media checklist. So like between 7 and 8 a.m., depending on what I'm doing. If I've worked out early or if I'm working out a little bit later, that's when you see me I hammer through most of my groups and I'll do all my group posts. I'll do my Facebook posts, all that kind of stuff. Then I really don't touch base on Facebook for a couple hours. I'm getting to be pretty hands off of Facebook, which has been awesome. Just personally getting my mentality off of that constant need to scroll. So after that, then I usually have an Amazon block or e-commerce block. That's where I'm doing my product sourcing, trying to find new stuff. And then I have another block after that. Midday is my massage block. So if I have any massage clients, they get plugged into a certain time period. I'm not doing what I used to do, which is a client reaches out and says, I need a massage. I say, what time works for you? I don't do that anymore. I say, my scheduled massage time is from here to here. Which spot would you like in there? Because that's my focused time block now for massage therapy. And then after that, I flip the switch back over to Beachbody. I have another Beachbody block for an hour. So I go through my messages, groups. We're getting back on track with getting our group test groups together, especially for 22-minute hardcore, which I'm so freaking pumped for. It's going to be awesome. So that's when I'm going through my list, and tomorrow I'm going to send out the invites for all that page. So you guys will see a post inside the ThriveFit group for that. But that's essentially how I work my day, is all based on my schedule. I know some people hate doing lists and schedules, and I'm still not a huge fan of it, but it works. It's the same thing as waking up early. It sucks, but it works. I can't tell you the physical reason why. So if you're not following any type of schedule, it's like doing a workout program. Like, you get 21-day fix. It's like ordering 21-day fix, taking the workout calendar and saying, throwing off to the side. You still have all the tools in front of you, the workouts and nutrition guide, all that stuff, but you have no structure. So you're going to wake up in the morning and go, well, I wonder what I want to do today. Not that one, not that one. Maybe I'll just do it tomorrow. It's the exact same thing when you're trying to run a business. You literally have to follow a structured schedule to get shit done, or it doesn't happen. It's, we're human. We procrastinate. It's what we do. So unless you have a structured schedule to follow, it's not going to happen. So with that, tip number 3 is make a friggin' list and follow it. I always joke now that your first to-do list item on bullet point number 1 on your to-do list is do the actual list. Because most people skip that step. They make a list, they're all motivated, but then the whole day goes by and they look at it and go, well, shit, I didn't do any of these. I've been there 1,000 times and I've gotten way better. And I can tell you from being on both spectrums, I feel 10,000 times better going to bed at night knowing I actually was productive and I got stuff done, rather than being busy all day and yet not completing anything. That kind of goes with multitasking, right? If you have a list of stuff to do, don't try to chip away a little bit of everything. Focus on one thing, hammer it out, get it done, power through it, and then go to step 2 and 3 and 4, etc. So that's tip number 3, is just make lists. And lists can be whatever they are for you. For me, I have a Beachbody list, which I've shared 1,000 times inside of the group. So, I mean, anyone can take my personal list. You can use it as is, or you can make it yours. Edit however you want to, make it fit your lifestyle, your business, and use it as the blueprint. But everything is provided there. Personal development, do your workout, share, reach out with messages, Instagram posts, all that kind of stuff. Make a list of like a business task list. And you can even break it down into morning time, I'm going to do this. Afternoon, I'm going to do this. Nighttime, I'm going to do this. If you want to break it into that way. So for me, I have like a morning checklist for social media. I have an afternoon checklist, which is more messages and invites. And then nighttime is kind of catch up. So I have like 30 minutes where I sit down and review my day, catch up on anything I missed on. So that's how I run it. That's how I make my list. And then I have a separate list for e-commerce. And sometimes I have a separate list for the massage world, because I have a page I'm starting to build for that. My life is a bunch of lists. Evernote is what I use on my phone, just because it's the easiest way to compile everything in one file. So tip number 4 is to stop with the freaking procrastinating. I'm one of the worst people at this, not so much nowadays, but my entire life was built on procrastinating. I would literally wait until the night before anything was due and get it done. But the funny thing is, you look at back in high school, or if you went to college, if you had to do an essay and you had like a month to do it, you always got it done the night before. It's amazing how productive you are when you're backed up against a wall, right? So one of the biggest things you can take out of this is just stop procrastinating. You can have your list, you can make your schedule, you can have the whole structure and plan, but none of that means anything unless you do it, right? And do it the second that you know you need to do it. Don't put it off until the last minute, especially with like 22 Hardcore coming out. Most coaches, that comes out on March 8th, I believe. What day is that? Tuesday? I think it's March 8th. So March 8th, let's just say March 8th, 22 Hardcore comes out. I have seen this year after year after year. Most coaches wait until a product launches and then they start to promote for it. Then they try to get a group together and then they wonder why they're struggling doing it. If you start early, don't procrastinate. Do exactly what I'm doing right here. I made the invite page for everyone to use. You have the tool right there in front of you. Most people are choosing not to use it. I'm starting early with the promoting and the marketing and getting people plugged in, because then when the program comes out, boom, you already have your people ready to order. You don't have to go through guess what we just came out with? I'm putting a group together, blah, 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 blah. No, if we do it now and don't procrastinate, we get to actually absorb some of that result early, as opposed to most coaches are going to wait until it comes out March 8th. And March 8th, just watch, Facebook is going to blow up with, oh my gosh, look what we just came out with. Every single product launch is always like that. So if you start early, be genuine with your invites. Don't invite people that are not truly going to benefit. Especially with like 22 Hardcore, it's not going to be a beginner's program. Beginners can do it. They can modify, but I'm not going to reach out to some of my heavier clientele that I know has knee issues, back issues, blah, 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 and say, oh my gosh, we came out with this program. You need to get it. It's going to kick the shit out of you, but you should do it. You need to be genuine. So reach out to the people that you know are going to benefit from it. But that all boils down to stop procrastinating. So that's an example with a product launch. Don't procrastinate until the last second to try to get a group together. And that can carry over into other groups too. If you want to do like a coach sneak peek or a business webinar, don't wait until the night before and start inviting people saying, hey, guess what I'm doing tomorrow? You need to start early. Anytime with groups, 2 weeks is always a great time frame. If you can start 2 weeks early with inviting, you can usually pull together something. But I've had moments where like Friday night, I'm thinking, I want to host a push-up challenge. And then I set it for Monday and that only gives me 2 days. I don't get many people. But if I give it 2 weeks and every single day I'm trying to draw more people in, you get a lot more response that way. So again, tip number 4, stop procrastinating. And last tip, number 5, focus on your strengths. This is something that John C. Maxwell talks about. I got to hear him live at Summit 3 years ago. Flipping awesome. So Maxwell is a big promoter of, he calls it BS with this statement. Everyone always says, take your weaknesses and make them stronger, right? And he calls BS on it because then you're well-rounded kind of a little bit. But why not focus on your strengths and be amazing at those? And he talks about how you look at any author and ask them what their day looks like, and he'll tell you, because he is an author of several books, and he tells you, I read, I write, I file, I review, I read, I write, I file, I review, and that's it. He does those same things every single day. He outsources the rest. And that's something I'm learning how to do, is to outsource. So pay people to do the stuff that you're not that great at or you don't like to do, because that's going to open up your time to focus more on your strengths, the stuff that you're really good at. That's what you focus on. And he gives the other example I love is, if you're given an axe and you're told to go hit 1,000 trees one time each, you're not going to make a dent in that forest. But if you're given an axe and you hit one tree 1,000 times, you bet that thing is coming down. That's called mastering something. So some people are great at inviting, making connections with people, selling the programs, running challenge groups. Whatever your strength is, you focus on that and bring other people into your life that can help take the other stuff off of you. Some of it might be family members help out. If you run a family household, you have kids, husband, wife, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever. If you are serious about making a business work, you need to bring them on board and say, okay, guys, here's my business. Here's what I need to get done each day. Can you help me out by doing this and this and this? So it gives me time to focus on this list or whatever it is you want to focus on. So you need to start bringing your family, sometimes your friends, on board too. I know for me, I lost several friends from high school because during my big push on building Beachbody, where I was putting in the late nights, I was working at the spa all day long, and I'd come home, do my workout, and then I'd put in like an hour or two of Beachbody at night. And I lost friends because they were all going out partying, going out to the bars and all that kind of stuff. And every single week, I always had to say no, because Friday and Saturday were my 2 days where I really had time at night to focus on Beachbody. And, I had to tell people no a lot of times. And there was a couple of friends that I had to sit down with and say, I would love to come out with you, but this is my dream. I need to focus on this right now. If you want to schedule another time and we can get together and hang out, that's great. But for now, I can't come out every Friday night, Saturday night, etc. So that's called focusing on your strengths, honing in on what you're good at. And you need to show up and make it a priority every single day. So real quick, 5 tips for time management. Set your priorities straight. You need to figure out what are your priorities. Fitness and nutrition should be on your top list. As fitness coaches, if you're not working out, if you're not eating right, what the hell are you doing here? That's something I've had to ask myself several times the last few weeks. Anytime I feel myself start to slip or I push off my workout till the end of the night, I'm always questioning myself. I'm like, if I'm not leading by example, who is going to listen to my advice, right? I'm telling other people what to do with their time and how to better their time management, and yet mine is sucky today. That's the kind of stuff that's been running through my head those days where I'm struggling. I have to be the example. It's just like with the team, right? The second that I pulled back in December to focus on my Amazon business, the team dissipated. And that was on me. And I totally take responsibility for that, because I need to lead by example. And so like right now, trying to get the team back up and moving, and I'm going to do a little reconstruction and get new people plugged in and kind of get a new team going. To make that happen, I need to show up every single day and lead by example as a leader of Team ThriveFit. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to treat this like we already have 1,000 coaches in here. Even if there's only 5 people who are active, I don't care. I'm going to show up every single day and lead by example. That's the same mentality that you need to have in your business. I don't care if you have 0 coaches or 10 coaches on your team, or 0 customers or 10 customers. You need to act like you have an audience that is just waiting to follow your lead. So if you are not leading by example, what do you think they're doing? Right? I love the quote that especially in our business, your coaches and your customers will always do what you do, not what you say. You can sit up here all day long and try to give out advice on health and fitness and following a program, blah, 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 blah. But if you are behind the scenes, skipping workouts, eating shit, and just not being positive, that's what they're going to be doing, because they are subconsciously following what we do, right? They look up to us as health and fitness coaches. So if we're not driving that path for them, they have no idea where to go. So set your priorities straight, schedule focus time blocks inside of your calendar, and follow them, guys. Again, setting, it's the same thing as setting goals. You can tell yourself, oh, I'm going to lose 50 pounds in 2016. That doesn't mean anything. You have to follow it up with action. That's where the truth is. That's where the work ethic shows up. That's where you see who's serious, is through the action, not what they say. Anyone can sit here and set goals. Anyone can set a calendar and power blocks and blah, blah, blah. Unless you back it up with action, it means nothing. So schedule your day, however it is you need to, but show up to those appointments like there's someone else you're showing up to, but it's for yourself. So like workouts, right? Schedule your workouts. So let's say 8 a.m. or 8 p.m., whatever works for you. When that time comes up and you get a little alert that pops up and says workout, show up. That's it. That's half the battle, is showing up, especially in the coaching business part, right? You want to make some money? You want to get paid every single week? Show up. That's it. That's half the battle. Show up. Tip number 3 is make a list, a business list, a nutrition list, fitness list, whatever type of list you need to do, make it, follow it. With that, stop procrastinating. When you make your list, get it done. If you have a hard time procrastinating, read Eat That Frog by Brian Tracy, because he talks about if you have to eat nasty frogs every single day, start with the biggest, nastiest one first, because the rest are going to fly by. No problem. And number 5, focus on your strengths. And sometimes that means outsourcing. So that doesn't always mean that you need to pay somebody, you need to hire somebody to help you out. Sometimes it does. I've had to do it lately for some certain tasks. But you can always get friends, family on board to take on whatever task you need to get off your plate, so you can focus on what you're good at. Because when you learn to focus on what you're good at, that's where you start to master something. And I'll end with one of my favorite quotes that I heard that Jason told me about 5 years ago is, a jack of all trades is a master of nothing. So if you're trying to do everything and you're only giving a little bit of time to each thing, you're not going to get very far. What you need to do is narrow down your plate to like 3 to 5 things you're really good at. And that's what you focus on. You know, I can relate to it, especially now where I run 3 businesses, each in 3 completely different categories of life. But these are 3 things that I'm really good at. And I've had the opportunity to run, I sat down and counted, I've had the opportunity to do 8 different businesses, each of which have great potential. But I chose not to do the other ones because of that exact quote. A jack of all trades is a master of nothing. I can try to run 8 different sources of income and I might get a little bit from each one, but I want to hone in on my best 3 that I know I'm good at. I want to master them and continue to get better at them. When I've mastered them, then you can start taking on some extra stuff. That's what you need to do, is focus on your strengths. This has been Coach Chaz. Appreciate you guys. Love you guys. Peace out. Time Management 101. Hopefully you got something out of this. If you're watching the recording, drop a comment below. Let me know if you took anything out of this, and if you have any extra tips that work for you, be sure to share those inside the group right underneath this video link. That'd be great to pull everyone together, start sharing those tips. So aside from that, you guys have a great night. I'll see you later.